Damn, son, where'd you find this?
People don't be offended by the truth. They be offended because you called out the truth. Simple as that. They don't want to hear any other narrative that makes them look bad.
One thing I can't stand at this big grown age is somebody who act like cause and effect does not exist. Like, yes, your actions caused this outcome. Yes, what you did lit the match. Like, why are you surprised and playing victim?
Guys, Chico, they never lied.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up, what up?
Down the Mongo.
Happy Tuesday, peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. Good to be back, man. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you're safe, I hope you're warm. I hope you made it to your destinations safely throughout this week so far. To everybody in the building, good to see y'all, man. Shout outs to my poets, my writers, my content creators, so on and so forth. You see the title. This is courtesy of Zay, the Wave. Salutes to you, bro, for the topic this evening. How everybody feeling? Charmaine, it's good to see you back. Good evening, Sid, Coach. What's up? What's the word?
Somebody frying chicken, or there's a lot of static going in the background. What's up?
It stopped. I have some news. So I found out today that we are having a boy.
Okay.
Congrats to the mom and dad. Congrats.
Thank you. We're very excited because that's what we were guessing and that's what we wanted. So yes.
That's what's up. Blessings to you in the fam. Zay, this is your look. I'm gonna tell you, bro. I can't use that clip you sent me, so I found something different. But it doesn't change the fact that what you sent to me was important. I want you before I even play the clip, because it does still tie into what you were talking about. I just kind of want to understand, what put this on your heart. You there? You on mute? Can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Honestly, that video that I sent you, it was on my heart because there's so many people that actually listen to that artist, and they got so many opinions on that artist, and they truly don't know what goes on in a person's life, but everyone got so many opinions on what this person should or shouldn't do. And it looks like a fall off, but sometimes it could be a comeback. You just never know. Like, sometimes it's deeper than what is shown to you, you know? So I don't know. I just felt like that video was deeper than it was. You know what I mean?
I got you. I just wanted your perspective on it. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this up on the big screen, and I'm gonna let this video cook, and we'll go from there. Let me see. Let me change this.
Who went from rich to broke. Number 1, Pamela Anderson. She was once one of the most famous women in the world, but years of legal battles, bad investments, and financial mismanagement left her deeply in debt. At one point, she even admitted she had to sell her dream home to stay afloat. Number 2, Brendan Fraser. After The Mummy made him a global star, Brendan's career crashed due to health problems, lawsuits, and a costly divorce. He went from blockbuster paychecks to financial struggles, disappearing from the spotlight for years. Number 3, Mickey Rourke. In the 80s, Rourke was at the top of Hollywood, but reckless spending, boxing injuries, and a collapsing career left him nearly broke. His comeback years later shocked everyone who thought he was done. Number 4, Tori Spelling. Born into a fortune, Spelling's lavish lifestyle and lack of inheritance from her father left her drowning in debt. She has openly admitted to money problems and unpaid bills despite her famous name. Celebrities who went from...
All right. So in your clip, we can start with that one. I'll start first with that first one. I do agree with you. We don't know everybody's life. We only know what they show us on the camera, what they post on social media. And it's weird that you had sent me that because it was maybe a few hours ago that I saw another J. Cole video where there was a young lady. She was going through some hard times and she reached out to him on Instagram and she wanted him to come to her graduation. And he told her, if you get all good grades, you graduate, I'll be right there in the seat waiting on you. And he held his end of the bargain and he showed up for her. And from high school, she ended up going to college. He showed up for her after college and everything. I thought it was a beautiful thing. And the reason why I bring that up is because we automatically assume we know these people's characters because they're in our face on this screen, but we don't know them, right? And it's easy to judge somebody or condemn them for being more open about their lifestyle publicly versus someone who is behind the scenes and they're not constantly being pushed out here. If you're doing good, everybody's with you. If you're doing bad, everybody is against you. Everybody's trying to kick you when you're down and things of that nature. This video that I just played was a complete contrast to that. So before we even go to that, I just want to hand the mic over. Anybody want to jump in on the clip that we originally watched with the J. Cole?
I'll pass. Go ahead.
I will say that um, I've been seeing that circle around about him and how he's about to drop new music. I'm excited. I'm a Cole fan, hard. So I'm excited for the new music that he's about to drop. But no, it's not. But I think aside from like not knowing what we see, when I was doing my research on him in undergrad for one of my classes, I realized that J. Cole is just one of the coldest rappers, I think, in my generation who spits hard truth and who spits on the everyday um, life and circumstances that goes on. And he is the most underrated and underappreciated artist, I think, of all times. Maybe in hip hop. Um, but there are other artists who we don't who's under the radar. And the next thing you know, they popping out music. For instance, Jill Scott. We ain't heard Sis music in a good little minute. Sis said this 2026, I'm popping out with an album. Boom. Ma'am, where have you been? You did movies, you have your acting, and then you come back into the music scene. And I think she had talked about like where she was and like what she was going through in an interview, I think with Angie or whatever. But it just goes to show that like the most underrated artists or the most underrated people who really just be minding their little business, who is very humane and who very much, keep it a buck, the keep it a buck category. You're never really gonna hear much about them until they pop out with something or they doing something um, that is significant in the industry that they work in. Um, and so yeah, that's all I got. That's my little 2 cents.
Zay, how you feeling about this clip?
Uh, I feel like yeah, I've seen some of these um actors and actresses that, because I grew up in a household that watches, Beverly Hills 90210. That's where Tori Spelling's from. Brendan Fraser, I see his stuff all the time. Um, it's easy to lose everything in a snap, and there's always content on that, but like it's either used as jokes or they're just nosy and they just want to analyze people's lives. And I was the type of person that wanted to be famous in the past, but the more I see like these videos of these celebrities and they're getting chewed out too, they either chewed out for something they did in the past or chewed out for something they do in present time. And the more I see it, it's like, dang, they never had the time to breathe. You know, it's just there's videos like that all the time. So it's mind boggling.
Um, I know I remember I was raised by my parents where they were always really honest with me. They never really let me like glamorize the lives of the rich, and they'd always make me consider like one, what it actually takes to be rich and the consequences of wealth. Because I think a lot of people assume that like, oh, well, if you're wealthy, like you won't have problems because you can afford such and such. But a lot of people that are wealthy have just as many problems, if not more, than the rest of us. And an other aspect, which we've kind of talked about this in the past couple of days in a couple of the episodes, where when I mean that old saying, like more money, more problems. When you have a lot of money that you're trying, oh my god, when you have a lot of money that you are trying to manage, number one, there's going to be different types of people trying to hang around you. There's going to be people that are basically trying to use you for your resources, for what you have. You might lose friends because of jealousy. People don't want to be around you because they want what you have but can't have it. And then money goes to your head. It's very easy to think that you're just going to keep getting an income over and over, and you're going to keep having that same amount of money flowing in constantly, which is why I think we see a lot of celebrities that they make a lot of money and then they immediately go bankrupt, or not immediately, but they go bankrupt because they like got this movie deal, but then they go dry for a while. And I've heard this happen with a lot of really big name stars that they make it big, they buy the big mansion, they have the plane and the fancy cars, and they buy all this like, I forgot who it was. I want to say it was Jack Black or someone else. They bought like a full dinosaur skeleton for their house. Like they buy some really crazy frivolous stuff. But then they can't afford the upkeep of their lifestyle. They, as we heard, some of them had to give up their mansions. They had to downsize, and they lost some of the stuff that they originally had. What else was I going to say? Just very distracting. Like specifically the Kardashians, I know they've been in the news a lot lately because people are starting to suspect that they're going bankrupt because Kylie Jenner, I think it is, she's been taking deals with phone games. And so people are saying, like, are you so desperate that you're starting to work with like, not even like the good famous phone games, like the really cheap, like I'm going to get you out of your money type of phone games that they try and make people play. But she's been a spokesperson for a bunch of those. And so people are starting to suspect that her upkeep is outpacing what she makes. And so she's now trying to get whatever jobs that she can just to supplement her income. And honestly, with the economy, if it continues to go in the direction that I suspect it's going, we'll probably start seeing this with a lot more celebrities, a lot more influencers that had these lavish lives that we were admiring. And then we find out behind the scenes, they're actually in the red hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars.
I don't know what all the backlash was for J. Cole. I yield. I just want to get this out real quick. He started to get into this back and forth with Kendrick Lamar. Then he gets on stage and he says, "You know what? This ain't worth my energy. I'm not about to go out here and perform for a bunch of people who's just looking for controversy and drama and things to argue and debate over. Ultimately, this might put me in a tight spot. It might hinder or ruin my friendship with some of these people that I consider to be friends beyond this microphone. I'm just gonna go ahead and bow out gracefully." He got a lot of backlash for it. They started to make it seem as if the man can't rap or whatever the case may be. I'm not personally a fan per se. I like his music. But I didn't see the issue with that. I think it takes a lot of maturity, a lot of self-awareness to say, all right, man, I'm older now. I don't got time to really like, I ain't got time to keep doing this back and forth over and over again. And yeah, I understand he said what he said and he called him out, but he did publicly apologize, bro. He publicly said, you know what, this ain't it. So like I can understand if he was underhanded and he tried to bow out without actually acknowledging that he started this, and now he don't want to be a part of that stuff with Drake. But he said, you know what, nah, I'm cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave this alone. Does that take away from the fact that he's a good artist? No. The other thing that I wanted to say, I don't think I've seen one single person that's made a significant amount of money that has never changed their attitude for the worse. And then it ended up biting them in the butt later on.
Oh, baby. Jay-Z. You can't say one person.
Well, he's still a billionaire, so I can't really. It don't look like he coming off that high horse too soon.
No shit. How long is your list? You said that you've never seen, so that's the one.
Well, what I'm referring to is he ends up on the street. He has a horrible attitude, a horrible character. He squanders his money. Next thing you know, he's the Nickelodeon kid panhandling, and then someone has to put him in a hotel. I don't see that happening to him.
No, I think what you guys are talking about between the individuals, right? Class, mature, boundaries, persona, avatars, all the things that movie actors, all these people that you guys keep talking about in these limelights, they play a role in the position. As you always say, they cosplay. People are cosplaying. So it just boils down at the end of the day is one, knowing your worth, knowing your value, and then knowing, as somebody said not too long ago, your expiration. Because you know your talents are only going to get you so far. And I think the objective is with you being a professional, and then what's the name of it? Man, the one boy, he was all some shit. He was wearing all gold, everything, all something, blah, 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 blah. He had that joint. Came out, hit, and everybody was talking about him, but he made so much money off that, and then he disappeared. I can't think of his name. It was like all gold or all black, everything. But he popped in and did one song, got in, got out. Yeah, Trinidad James, that's it. So again, it just depends on what's the objective. Then you talk about the other boy from Texas. He got into Bitcoin. He got into all those different things. He did the song with the Bone Thugs boy. You See Me Rolling.
Chameleon.
Yeah, another one. He got in, got out. He put the money into the crypto game and the other things. So again, you come out and you have these objectives, and I think what happened in the late 2000s. Well, we're still in the 2000s, so the mid 2000s was people started to realize the difference between being an actor, being an entertainer, being a business person, and then transitioning and pivoting. And you hear it all the time right now with the young folks that's in the entertainment business. What they're doing is they all get in and they all get out. So I don't think you're going to see that trajectory that much anymore of the old Hollywood elites, because the newer folks are getting in, using it as a stepping stone, and then pivoting to something else and something different. So I think that's where the disconnect is happening. And then somebody else just did it as of recently, and I can't remember, and that just tells you how fast they go in and go out. And I don't keep in contact with these people because what they eat don't make me shit. So I don't really follow them a lot. So again, I think if you understand that it's a stepping stone, and I think they're using it to their advantage versus the people that were doing it for 20, 30 something years. It's just like everything else in life right now. If you look across the career field patterns, people aren't just doing jobs for an extended period of time that they don't want to do anymore. It doesn't matter if you looked up to those people doing those jobs, they aren't doing those jobs for an extended period of time. They're doing them for a long enough time to get enough money to bounce and move on to something else and to something different. So everything's a launching point now. And then going into, like right now, you got Kai Cenat walking around. He's talking about doing fashion. And then you got A$AP Rocky telling him, hey, look, stop showing everybody what you got going on right now. Go home, develop the product, and then come out with the finished product, because everybody's going to attack you in the progressive stages. So it's nothing different. I think that as people look at these entertainers and these rappers, they are going through transitional stages. And as a rapper or as an entertainer, they're just 1099 employees, but they're the talent versus the management, as we talked about in the previous podcast. So if they're the talent and not the management, they may be looking at the short-sighted goals versus long-term goals. And then what happened is, if you're a fan of them being the talent and not the management. Hence, people have issues with NBA players, such as LeBron, who realized he was not only the talent, but he could also play dual roles and control his future. And people, fans alike, didn't like the fact that he was controlling his future and his destiny early in his career, hence the decision in Miami. Nobody talks about how he donated money to those youth organizations and different things. They talk about the fact that he duped the NBA by going on TV and doing it his own way. And they vilifies him for doing so, not the fact that he did that, raise money for a charity, an organization. So nobody talks about those type of things. So again, just look at the perspective of how we as Americans and as so-called quote unquote business people look at the way people conduct business on this large platform.
Charmaine, how important is it to get in and get out? You make your money.
I'm coining that shit, by the way, too. Don't keep saying that. Get in and get out.
I know, right? You put in the blood, sweat, and tears. You become this famous artist, composer, ghostwriter, whatever it is that your heart desires. You get 5, 6, 7 years under your belt. When is enough? When is it time to stop and move on to something else?
That's hard, because it's like, I don't know. I think you gotta have the mindset and also just the spirit to just be like, all right, this was good. This was a good run. This was great. Now it's time to move on and do something else. Low key, I'm thinking and reminded of, like, not just LeBron, but also what Kobe did, what Shaq did, what AI did, like how they all did what they need to do in the game of basketball, right? And then eventually they was like, all right, I'm gonna tap out. Like, I've had enough. I've did all that I need to do, and now it's time to move on to a different venture. It's like you just gotta, your spirit just gotta be right with it. Like, if you feel that you've done enough that was impactful, that was meaningful, and you're like, okay, like I'm at peace with what I did, what I've done, and move on, I think that's where it is. But if you're not at peace with it, it's going to keep circling back. It's going to keep running circles around you until you finally say, okay, what have I not finished yet? What have I not done yet? What project has not, been touched or whatever? And then once all that is done, go ahead and exit stage left. You've done the work. You've done what you need to do. So I think that's when you know that enough is enough. Get in and get out. But not everybody has that mindset either, or that discernment to know either. And so I think that's another part that comes in, because you can say, hey, I'm done, I'm ready to get out, and you only done 3 years, and you talk it over with your partner, and your partner like, but what have you done though? what have you what have you done? And if you ain't done nothing, they gonna be like, yeah, go ahead and keep going. Tap back here, because you're not done yet. So yeah, I think that's how you that's why I think that's how you know. But everybody's mindset is a little different when it comes to it.
As you see,
I agree with that for sure, because I think one of the problems with people just accumulating money is there is no end, because you can always continue to I mean, as long as you're doing it effectively, you can always continue to accumulate money. So you kind of have to have ulterior goals, ulterior things of meaning for yourself besides just the wealth. I know a lot of people that have I want to be rich in mind. They don't really have anything specific with that goal in mind. They're just saying, I want to be rich. But they don't really have any other things to apply with that. And if you don't have any set, like, I want to be rich because I want to support my kids and put them through college, I want to be able to like buy a house at this beach that I've loved, or something like that, like, you're not really going to know what to do with your wealth. And so as soon as you do have it, you're just going to spend it on whatever comes to mind. You're not really going to be able to invest it properly, because you won't have a plan with it. And if you don't have a plan for something, you're going to go all over the place. You're going to try this, try a little of that. You're going to mess up. But people who have a set plan know where they want to go with it, know how they want to utilize the money, have plans for how far they want to go. They're going to be a lot better off, because they'll have a path set out for themselves, and they'll know when that it's time for that path to end or to switch or whatever. And they'll also have, like, when you plan, you'll have like side goals as well that you can focus on even once that original main plan dies. Because I know that's another thing, unrelated to wealth, but to aging. There's a link between rapid decline of people in old age and not having hobbies or having other things to focus on. So particularly when they hit retirement and the kids move out, if you haven't established who yourself is, you haven't established what you love to do independent of other people, and you have based your life solely on your career, as soon as that career is gone, a lot of people people can decline quickly, because essentially our brains don't like that. Our brains like to have something to keep looking forward to, having something to act on, to keep working on. And so it's important for us to have a solid path for ourselves. So if you plan to have wealth, you should have a plan of what you want to do with that wealth before you start accumulating. Otherwise, as I said, you're just going to kind of go off the rails and buy whatever. So I think that's one thing that can help people, prevent people from just like going off the deep end, is because they actually have a set idea of how they want to utilize that wealth for themselves. They set it aside for their future. They set it aside for their kids. They set it aside for programs that they care about. And they aren't just like, well, I have it, so I'm going to spend it. So I think that's an important thing that a lot of people don't really go for, and they kind of neglect that side of it.
Zay, do you quit while the iron is hot, or do you try to hang in there like LL Cool J and drop 10?
I really feel like it all depends on where you at in your life, and it also depends on what steps you want to take at that current moment. Like it all, like I like Sid's point because it really highlights the point of having a inner structure. And once you have that inner structure, it's like a compass. It shows you where you need to go. So if let's just say like the iron is hot, but you know that your next move is it's not right for you. You gotta trust that intuition, cause that inner gut is gonna say, "Yeah, I don't think you should. I think you should hop out right now before something happens." You know, your inner compass will always direct you where you need to go. If the iron is hot and you feel like you can keep going, then keep going. It really depends on what the everything has a factor, in that specific moment, who you're associating with, you know, which season you are in, what that season is teaching you, you know, and also look to prayer because if you don't, how you gonna know what God is trying to direct you to? That's what I'm learning right now. You gotta go he's directing you. You don't go by where you want to go. You gotta go where God's going and where he wants you to go. That's his will. So, that's what I'm learning right now.
Hey, real quick, Zay. So what I'll say is what you said was kind of contradictory, right? Because you talk about the inner compass and you talk about the directions, and I agree because your inner compass and your intuition is going to help you based on your experiences, but then you can't rely on the inner compass and then say you're waiting on something else to also give you guidance. So what I would say is, obviously you use discernment, and then you have to weigh those experiences and what you're going through, because only you know. Nobody else knows what you're going through. It's not something I can talk to you about because I can ask you questions and you can give me what you perceive to be an honest answer, or you can kind of withhold it and kind of manipulate the conversation a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's ultimately up to you and being honest and sharing those experiences. And then that's when having those honest conversations and those talks come into play based on your inner compass, as you described it. Because the inner compass, whether you self-evaluate or you look for a higher power to give you some type of concernment or guidance, that's what that inner compass is going to be. So you can't fight the inner compass. You can. I'm not telling you what you can or can't do. But if you fight that inner compass, it sounds like Sid gave the example the other day, is I giving you 3 opportunities and you just blew past all 3 opportunities. If that makes sense. And I don't know if you was on the call, but what it was she used a reference to say, hey, God said, I give you this, number 1, boom, number 2, number 3. You look past all 3 of them and you didn't choose any of them. So now what do you exactly want me to do? So I think when you start talking about that inner compass, I think it might be you tapping into that higher power and that third eye energy. And then maybe with concernment, maybe with some pros and cons, maybe weighing those things, and then you making a conscious decision, a strategic decision, not an emotional decision. and then executing that way. Other than that, I agree with you 110%.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because, and let me clarify. I think the reason why I didn't really get too deep into it. What I meant was
Get a
people
shovel, baby.
often
Dig. Let's do it.
people often ignore their intuition. So when you are making a choice, making a decision, and you're not trusting that intuition, 9 times out of the 10, you're out of where you're supposed to be. And, you know, sometimes your intuition, well, not mostly all the time, your intuition is aligned with the Most High and His will, but your desire to listen to your intuition is wonky because you either got the enemy in your ear or you got other people's opinions in your ear. So that can blind you for what your intuition, your inner compass is leading you to. But your intuition is 9 times out of the 10 is already aligned with your higher power, like Coach said. But if you don't listen to it, that's where the path gets, it's not clear anymore. It's not going to be clear because you're walking in the unknown, but at least you're trusting your inner compass and you're trusting God to direct you. And once you listen to that inner compass, you're safe. You're covered no matter what.
Good cleanup.
Like,
Well said, brother. Well said.
Consider you got an audience of 5-6 million people. They're already accustomed to you. You're a household name. You're on their coffee mugs, you're on their t-shirts, you're on their hats. They know your dog's name. They know your favorite plants and all of that. Like, people really get involved with these entities to the point to where you even change for 1 second and start doing anything different. If they're not hardcore fans, they're gonna scold you for everything that you're doing. But if they really there because they want to see you advance and progress, they're gonna love it. And I think a lot of people, they see these tweets and these reposts, and they got these folks in your ear, and it's like they need more. I know you tired. I know you want to slow down. I know your body is hurting you. I know it's only but so much you can put on that pen. It's only so much you can sing, but these people want more. You, at some point, you're gonna have to draw the line. You're gonna have to draw the line because there's a season. You can't stay doing. There's some things that I think you can do until, like, you decide to retire, and there's some stuff that you just have to pack it up and then move on to something else. And I think people stay way too long, and along with that comes the drugs, the experimentations, the propositions. I I would make my if I go platinum, or if I give me 2 global awards or whatever, I'm cool right there. I must go into something else because I don't want to be known or identified for one specific thing. And then on top of that, not even to mention the fact that, like you said, God will have you here one day and then want you somewhere else another day. You might not be a this or that or whatever for 2, 3, 4 years. You might have to walk in something else. It all really depends, but I get what both of y'all saying. I don't think a lot of people follow their intuitions or their guts. Um, and since we were speaking about business and things that yesterday, how much of this plays a role in how these folks end up on the street? Bad business. You don't have the right people working with you on your accounts. Someone siphoning money out of them, or you got friends that's just there to use you. Like how much does that play a role in it too?
Listen, man, I again, I don't know any of these people, man, so I don't care to talk about it. I'll talk about regular people. The role that it plays in regular people is the same as it does in the people that whomever idolizes these people on TV. Jealousy, envy, lust, lack of confidence in within oneself, the fact that people envy other people and they can't be happy for other people. Those are all things. Greed, yeah, like Sid said, these are all things, man. The seven deadly sins. These things are all relevant and prevalent in everything that we do. And I think, and again, I can't speak on famous people. I'm just speaking on, normal everyday people. These are the things that separate everybody, because some people work harder than others. Some people had 2 or 3 steps up above others. Some people are favored because of the way they look. Some people are favored because of the way they talk. There's all type of things that go on out there that causes these seven deadly sins that are allegedly sins that people go by. But at the end of the day, it's about you as the individual. How are you conducting yourself? Are you holding yourself accountable? Do you have the inspiration within yourself to go out there and execute these things? Do you have the motivation? Are you looking to somebody else for motivation or inspiration? These are all things you have to ask yourself. You can look at these people who are just doing a job on TV and you idolize because you watched them for 96 minutes or an hour and 35 minutes. It's completely up to you. All I think it is you just finding other excuses to project yourself on the people that you don't even know. And instead of doing that, you should focus more on yourself and become a better version of yourself and stop worrying about these things that you have no control over, i.e. Hollywood. Worried about your block, your house, your family, and you take care of business there. You don't have to worry about this shit that's going on in Hollywood. Just my thoughts.
Charmaine, same question.
I ain't got nothing. I think Coach said it all. I don't got nothing.
Hell no, Charmaine. You got to give us at least 1 or 2 points. Go ahead, girl.
Hey, look. And the devil is real, man. I used to want to like Zay, I used to want to be in that. And then like I'm looking over the last couple years, man, doing this alone. And I'm looking at people like Andrew Tate. I'm looking at Anton Daniels. I'm looking at Corey Holcomb. I'm looking at all these different faces. And it's not pocket watching. It's not me looking at the celebrity lifestyle, because as far as I'm concerned, they're all humans. They're all regular people to me. You just have
you guys to follow. Stop lying, man. You out there doing your thing.
Nah, I'm not them yet, Lord willing. But I look at these different things for my own reasons. It's not because I'm trying to compare lifestyles or nothing. It's because I want to learn from my mistake. It was a quote that was said yesterday, I believe, or it was earlier about and matter of fact, you said it earlier about actually learning from other people's mistakes.
A wise man learns a wise man learns from other people's mistakes,
Right,
not his
right.
mistakes.
So I'm looking at how y'all communicate on social media. I'm looking at how you're handling your audience. I'm looking at how you're treating your wife. I'm looking at how you're treating your friends and your family, how you model and say that you operate under certain jurisdictions. And I'm seeing all of this backlash, and I'm seeing people challenging you on your beliefs, and I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that. And then I'm looking back at myself because I gotta go home and I gotta turn all this off, and I gotta say, all right, well, this is what I need not to do. This is what happens when you have this type of attitude. Even before all this, when me and my brother and my sisters, all of us we were doing like numbers, like really doing numbers, and I was proud of everybody. And then life, throws you that wrench. You start seeing some things start to look different, and it's like I gotta remain humble because that could be you the next day. And then I fast forward, and right now I got a screen in front of me, and I'm touch screen swiping different scenarios where I see people arrogant, conceited, they haughty. Hustle man from he just said, "Hey, bro, yeah, we went to school together. Yeah, you homeless, but I ain't got nothing to do with that." He did that live on camera. Bro tried to reach out to him, said, "Nope." You know what I'm saying? I remember what you did to me. I remember what you did to me, and yeah. And he was like, "You know what? Yeah." So I don't ever want to be that person. I don't want to turn into that. And I think that part right there is a contributing factor to why people end up getting humbled in some type of way. It
When you
ain't
say
got
you
nothing.
don't want to turn into that, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm gonna do it anyway. What do you mean by turning into that?
A egotistical, arrogant, I'm too good for you, I can't give back to the community type of a person. I can't read the comment section. I can't interact with the people who interact with me in the comment section. People be having 80,000 people following them, and they be supporting you every single day. But you, guess what? You never talk to them. You got somebody else handling your accounts. You got somebody else doing it. And I understand to a certain extent why you would do it, but I don't want. I want to remain grounded.
Is that a bad thing that you don't respond to everything and you have somebody that works for you that's assigned to do that?
I just say it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it like when you get to the point to where you just don't ever say nothing to nobody, like never, you just never say thank you. You can't say thank you, my nigga. Like you like
I get you. Let's dialogue for a second. It's because I'm new to this. I don't know, so I'm asking. I'm trying to learn. Because we talk about social media a lot, and we talk a lot of people that's on social media. So if you have a social media team and they reply all the time, and I'm asking, educate me, is it a bad thing? Is it's their job and they're getting paid to answer those things?
it has its pros and cons. It does. Yeah, I know it sounds contradictory.
No, I was laughing at the comments. What's pros and cons about it? Talk to me. He was talking shit about you being Hollywood. Go ahead. What's pros and cons about it?
So when you got a team with you, they can protect your brand. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to make sure that your stuff is running in order. But then on the flip side, you're the reason why I'm in the position I'm in. I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for you.
But I'm employing you.
No, so, I'm referring to the people.
I know, but I'm saying if I'm employing you, you work for me, we're a team, and that's why we are successful. So I'm saying I'm trying to figure out where the individual is held responsible for having to individually respond to everybody.
No, you don't have. No, I'm not saying respond to everything. I'm saying say hello every once in a while.
Why?
Yes.
When I'm paying somebody for it. That's the business aspect of it. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Because humility goes a long way.
Thank
so
you.
You only find humility in somebody that responds to the comments?
Nah, no, of course not.
Zay said it. Zay, get back on the mic. Don't run. Don't throw rocks and hide your head, Playboy. You said it. Get back on the mic.
Nah, I didn't hear the question. I apologize.
Okay, let me rephrase it. You said humility goes a long way. So are you saying it's only humility if you, the actual individual, respond?
No, I'm saying that, you know, you don't, even though you can delegate a position to somebody, it still shows more on your character if you engage with the people that you know that are following you, because they're taking their time out of their day to support you. So if you add a little humility, you know, it's like showing gratitude to people, you know.
Okay, no, I respect that.
There's somebody right now that I follow on IG. They in Country Wayne skits. She didn't have to follow me back. She didn't have to speak to me, respond to none of my comments. She don't owe me that. Nobody owes you that. She does. And to me, I'm like, respect. I think it's dope. You got a whole.
How would you feel about it?
I would have. It would have been, oh, you know, it is what it is. But I find I appreciate people like that just because you don't have to do it.
No,
but
I respect that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like
just asking your opinion. That's all.
Yeah, like even if you did it once or twice a year, it's just like I was right there with y'all too.
Let me ask you a question though. Is that the validation piece we talk about in social media?
For on whose part?
As long as you took to think about it, I think you know whose part.
No, because I don't know because
your ass had to think about it. So what are we talking about?
I don't need the validation.
That is validation. If the person that's on the site stops and acknowledges you, that's validation. Right? Come on, man. We can't pick and choose. We ain't doing that shit. Yes or no? Do we need to Google what validation is? Sid, get in there. Stop watching.
It's validation. Because when you have somebody that's acknowledging you, you're basically validating inside that, like, oh, I matter. And you're getting that through somebody else. And that's what validation is, where you're seeking comfort and I don't know the word that I'm trying to, I can't think of the word right now, but you're seeking out fulfillment from external factors, and that's validation.
Right. Shar, get off the phone and get in the damn chat. That's what we're talking about. Though that's validation. So we can't pick and choose when we're talking shit about people, and then we up here sitting here talking about the same thing. I'm saying that's accountability, baby. Let's do it. Yes, that's accountability.
See,
get in, say it, talk to me. Let's do it. Let's do it.
It's validation. It's validation.
Okay.
It was nice to be noticed. Shit, I watch y'all videos all the time, every day from morning to evening.
It ain't nothing wrong with that, but this is what we're talking about, because I just started a men's group, mental health group, right? And so we're talking about again. No, Shep, that's only you, Playboy.
We should all consider ourselves lucky because we're getting free coaching.
Yeah, you damn right. Yeah, but what I'm saying though is you talk about, you know, people need validation, and then you said to answer that question, it all comes full circle. So no matter who we are, and if we're talking to other people, then everybody appreciates. I won't say they expect, I won't say that it's demanded, but the appreciation factor of the validation is there. Because, like you just said, somebody on their platform taking the moment to say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you, D. Craig. Hey, good looking out, Playboy. I see you. You say that felt great. And that goes back to validation. Still the stuff we talk about every time we're on these things. It goes back to validation. So again, it goes back to accountability, open-mindedness, and understanding that, again, we're all human, man. It doesn't matter. Just like people that go to concerts, or you comment on somebody's post and they be like, yo, good looking out, give you a shout out. The shout out is warranted, and it is definitely welcome and received. Jumping with kindness.
Look, the point that I was trying to make is there's somebody that is in a position where they don't have to do it, and they do it. And if I was her, I would do the same thing.
Absolutely. Just like you do every time before you get off, you give a shout out to everybody that's in the comments and everything else. Not taking that away from you, Playboy. Just using a moment to say that at some point. Clip that shit up and put it in the streets. Everybody out there is looking for something. Street dreams are made of these. It's all good, baby. It's all good.
Hey, man. Anybody want to jump in on here? You know, you want to add anything before we get up off here, though?
Yeah, get that brother some relief.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take me a couple Advil or something. It's all good though. We all need a little love out here, man. Charmaine, you good up there?
I know, Charmaine, Zay, get in the damn game.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, we all do want validation. Like, if you don't want validation, there's something wrong. For real. Because everybody wants to feel special, like, because that's what validation is. It's wanting you to feel special, feel seen, feel heard. And we all want that in life. Like, we all want that in some way, shape, or form. In any relationship, any friendship, any whatever. And there's really nothing wrong with it. But I think too much validation, that's where it's like, all right, go ahead and just head out because you're doing too much and you want too much and all that. So it's like you gotta have that balance for real. But other than that, I'm gonna stay off of Coach because Coach been going in tonight. See that and that.
I'm sorry.
Zay said, y'all want to add anything before we get up out of here?
I put it in the chat. I wanted to say too, validation is honestly probably what motivates people to chase wealth and fame to begin with, because they basically think, well, it's going to get me the things I want. It's going to get me the people to look at me like I want. And it's going to get, like, with that, you're going to have people validate you and say, you're awesome, you're cool, you're talented, you're this, that, and the other thing. So I think that's probably why a lot of people go overboard with wealth and with fame, because they have never done it inside themselves. They're only seeking it externally. And that's really the biggest difference between people that seek validation and people that don't need to seek validation. Is people who seek out validation have not done the work on themselves to love themselves for who they are, to be comfortable with who they are, and to be themselves regardless of what everyone says. And so the select few celebrities that we do see that manage to keep their existence and their personalities and their living styles the same are probably the people that have done that deep work. And so they don't need all of that extra stuff, even though they are getting it.
Zay, you the last man standing. What you got?
I just want to point out the fact that Sid's point was so beautiful because it shows how, I'm going to say this again, how those inner structures should be. You know, there's nothing wrong with acquiring wealth. Not at all. That's actually what God wants for us, to acquire wealth. It's just what you do with that wealth that makes a difference. And you could change so many lives with that wealth. And a lot, 9 times out of the 10, actually, no. You're not going to be able to take that wealth with you when you pass. Anyway, so if validation is what you're looking for, it's not it's not gonna work, you know. But paying it forward, doing good deeds, showing your humility, that goes a long way. I'm gonna end it at that.
Oh,
Great point. Nah, brother. I'm getting one in. Hey, Zay. Hey, good point. I think what we need to highlight, right, is and it's not, even though we laugh and joke, man, you froze. You got your arm stuck at the thing. I'm just trying to figure out
nah,
what's going
I'm on my soundboard.
All right, bet. Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with, like Zay said, nothing wrong with validation, right? The problem comes into play because everything is good in moderation. The problem comes in when that's all you're seeking is that validation. And the problem comes into play is when you're willing to sacrifice for that validation. And that's when the issue comes into play. And what we see right now in real time is people sacrificing themselves and others for the validation. And they aren't getting anything in return for the validation. The validation isn't getting them, like you guys mentioned earlier, a check. It's not getting them any contracts, any monetization of rewards. It's the small things. And when you're willing to sacrifice your integrity, your morals, your values for validation, then that's when the issue comes into play. And validation does start with your own mindset. Because in your own mindset, if you're not strong enough to understand and respect the individual that you are, that you don't need somebody else's validation, then that's where the problem comes into place. Self-sabotage, insecurity, those type of things. And that's a whole nother pot. But again, the end of the day is you have to understand the value that you hold within yourself. And within understanding that value that you hold within yourself, you'll start to project yourself. You'll start to understand yourself, and you'll start to be a different person. You'll start to stand tall. You start to roll your shoulders back, poke your chest out, lift your chin up, and walk with that confidence. And that would be your validation within yourself. You got it, bro.
I just want to add one quick thing that you made me think of. That's probably why social media is so dangerous, because it's basically validation without any. You're not getting anything out of it, basically. You're basically just getting straight validation through comments and stuff like that. So that's probably why it's A, so addicting, and B, so dangerous.
We're gonna have to do a whole different show on this because there's a difference between validation and lifting somebody up. Huge difference.
Hell yeah. Validation would be a vibrator versus actually having a man that pleases you. Well, we can go all over the place, baby. It's up to you. Zay, that's your fault. I wasn't thinking like that. You pulled it out of me. I'm out of here.
Yeah, we about to get up out of here, man. Shout outs to everybody in the building. Charmaine, Sid, Coach, Zay, salutes to Chef, Arcana, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go check out Arcana, man. He be on the grind just as much as I do from the morning to the evening. Sometimes I don't even be knowing that this nigga is live because this shit just randomly just pop up. But no, salutes. We about to get up out of here though. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Do me a solid before you go.
What's the goddamn button?
Peace.